back with another shooting setup. I'm really not going to do all shooting setups. We're going to evolve to a much broader range of behind the scenes looks. In fact, more and more over time, we're going to be focused on business building. But for now, I'm hyper concentrated on recording and videos and content, and we'll be doing a newsletter here soon. So I'll cover the content as I'm doing it, and then as I broaden into a wider range of business activities and business building, I'll start covering those more and more. But this is the main desk setup. This is my most common shoot setup. It's my Zoom setup. It's my presentation setup when doing podcasts or when doing live events or workshops with my membership and all that. So this is also a common setup for YouTube videos, as those of you who came from the main channel know. And just wanted to walk through a little bit how I dive into recording a new video. So let's walk through that setup. This is the main desk setup, the main layout. I got the double main monitors. This is all running off the notebook computer. So it's really 3 monitors, 4 with the teleprompter, and that's a larger teleprompter. I have it off at a further distance, which I like, because that means I don't have to wear my reader glasses. Also means I can use a longer lens, which is more flattering for portraiture or shooting waist up shots. This is the main layout. We'll do a proper desk layout in the future, but I'm mainly focusing right now on the setup for recording. So the main software I got running here is a teleprompter software that's managing this little window in the middle. It's a narrow scroll in the middle, so it keeps my eyes from bouncing around. Almost all the time, it's just an outline of bullet points, and then I'll riff off those bullet points. I feel it's a little stiff when you're just reading everything, and I just can't take the time to write everything out perfectly. So I have main segments. The nice thing about this prompter software is as I talk, if I state the sentence that is the bullet point and then go on to elaborate on it, it'll actually advance by voice. This is called Smart Prompt or Prompt Smart Studio. So it's voice activated in terms of how it advances through the bullet points. So I like that a lot. And control everything here. I've got a monitor on my iPad mini here. That's pretty much what I use to evaluate the exposure and the composition. I do have a picture on here because I like to see myself. It's what they call a confidence monitor. Just feel good that everything's framed properly. But this is the monitor I'm using to really set it up. This is a great app. It's called Monitor Plus, I believe. I know it works with Sony. I suspect it works with the rest. Lets me hit record to the computer. It's a Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection to the camera, not the computer, but to the camera, which is a Sony a7S III in this case. And gives me full control, but also gives me all the scopes and the waveforms and all that. It's just incredible. Lets me apply a LUT. See, I'm recording in log. But with this, I can put a LUT on it, and I can remove that and get a big picture. I can put the zebras on. I can get a false color. All these things give me a lot of information for the exposure, so I can get that right. We're recording audio here in the Rodecaster Duo, which is awesome. Love that for audio. And then I got some stream decks here for various things, usually for live streams. But this is the basic setup. Works really nicely. Yeah, we'll cover the items, the gear, and the more of the technical setup in a future video, but just wanted to show how I do the recording. And the camera in there, the a7S III inside the teleprompter is shooting on a 50mm lens and really wide open. I think it's a 1.8, so it's getting a lot of blur in the background, which is nice to isolate me as the speaker from the background. Lighting is a 1.5 by 2 foot flat panel. I don't want it too big. I used to have the 2 by 2, but it was a bit too soft, and I wanted to harden it up a little bit while maintaining a somewhat soft light, which is a more flattering light. So that works really nicely. I've got a lot of accent lights around me, and one of these is this lamp, which does fill the shadow side. It's a little filled, so it's not too dark on the shadow side. That bulb is an aperture bulb that screws into a normal lamp socket, but gives me video and film quality lighting with total control RGB controls from the Sidus Link app, which is the Aperture. Aperture is a brand for lighting equipment, and they have an app called Sidus Link that gives you total control over the lights. Got a bunch of those around the studio, especially in the background. Speaking of the background, got an edge light here, which is also a nice decoration for the studio. And got an accent light here to put a little blue to contrast against the warm lamps. These lamps here also have those aperture bulbs, so I get total control of them in the Sidus Link app. And then over on the bookshelf, we've got more of those aperture bulbs and lamps to give total control over those. And when I use the hue bulbs, they flicker at some frame rates. So I'm just tired of wrestling with flicker from the hue bulbs. I've given up on hue for shooting. Then I got this lamp with this blue bulb. Again, another aperture bulb in there for full RGB control. Cast a little blue in here in the background to give contrast against the warm bulbs. And then we got the fireplace here with another one of the aperture bulbs in there set to the very slow fire flicker effect. They have effects for different styles and looks, so that's kind of fun. We do have an Elgato strip light down here to cast a little blue for some more color contrast. So that's about it in terms of the recording setup. We'll cover more aspects of this desk setup, which is my power productivity station in a future date. There's just so much going on that has subtle little touches that just make this the ultimate workstation for me. And I'll share those ideas and insights at some point when we get to a more general desk setup for productivity. That's it for today. See you in the next one.